Alrighty, I swear I made this video, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I uploaded it. So I'm going to make a video showing you guys all my firewood heaps and all that sort of stuff. Some of what I'm going to show you is construction timber that my father wants to keep, but quite honestly it's turning to shit, and there's quite a bit of it that well, has been cut and put in the as you can see out there, the old camper slash caravan, and plenty of it's already been burnt, and there's some of it that's going that way that it should have been burnt, and other stuff that I got to too late that just ended up on bonfires because it was all rotten. So I'll show you that, but there's a lot of actual proper logs and stuff too that I've cut up and jammed in different places around here that mightn't be so obvious, but a lot of these old water tanks and random things you see around, they're full of firewood. I've got a damn near obsession with this, I can't hold myself back when it comes to cutting firewood. I don't wait till the first snowfall and then say, holy smoke, I've got to get serious about firewood and then give it a blast for about 2 days, 3 days maybe, and then just run out of steam, and then still run out of firewood in the middle of winter. It's almost like I've got issues. I just can't help myself. I've got to cut more and more and more. I'm like the little ant that stores up food for the winter, or the squirrel who stores up nuts, but I just almost don't know when to stop. In fact, I've got to get some more firewood before long, which is going to be green cut stuff, and I've got to get father to go and sharpen all my damn chainsaw chains up, and go and get some more, but that's sort of going to be for somebody else, but it's probably going to spend a whole year sitting around here drying out. Some of it I may end up with, but probably not. I don't really need it. But yeah, I've got to cut more. But that's sort of for someone else more so. Anyway, yeah. So some of this will be, the audio will be turned off, particularly when I'm showing the construction stuff. I may then also do a run of the dead trees around here, because like literally 2/3 of the trees here are dead or barely half alive or whatever. And you know, there's a lot more potential in those. I've chopped up the bits of the box sawn that were larger stuff that didn't burn, some of which is thicker than my leg. You know, I've chopped those up as well. But anyway, I'll show you some of the reasons why I'm running out of room in the house. A big high intensity discharge. Bloody best torch you've ever come across in your life. $250 torch, but it's a search and rescue grade, and you can see everything, including all the firewood under the table. And all the stuff here. A lot of this is all cypress pine from all the pines around here. That's actual construction pine there. When you think cypress pine, don't think it burns like construction pine, like radiata pine or anything like that. It burns slower. It's not as good as hardwood. It is a softwood, but it burns a hell of a lot slower than normal pine, and I'm talking it takes about 2 or 3 times the length of time to burn. That there, that's peppercorn. Apparently you can get an antibacterial out of the bark, I only just found out last week, but that's a bit of that on the edge there is peppercorn, which I've got some more behind the old red truck. I'll leave this running high intensity. Oh yeah, that's starting to ripen. Whoopee-doo! I have some tomatoes that are ripening. High intensity discharge torches don't like being turned on and off. Once you warm them up, it's sort of one of these things that warms up, and yeah, very delicate lens with zinc salts, give you the high amount of light. Yeah, this is some of the construction stuff I was saying about. I got this side of the caravan full of it. I had, holy smoke, a whole heap stacked in the veranda like you just saw before, but of all this square stuff. And of course, as a result, it stacked beautifully, and I burnt that pretty much a whole winter. I just spent burning all this stuff. It's like, I think it's 8x8 or something like that. It's at least 6x6 anyway. And bit of old almond there. A couple other bits. Some of this has come out of the local forest. That was grabbed by my uncle at a local forest. This side's real good. I've got friggin' heaps of almond here. These are the old almond trees that were just about ready to go flat on their arse. Some which are a little bit rotten in the middle, and others which are absolutely beautiful if they weren't split. They're bloody near perfect condition. Some bits ain't too bad. Just a couple of little borer holes. They tend to have a lot of borer, motley looks. But the vast majority of this is a little bit of crapo pine down below again, but a good heap of this is actually just almond on this side. And I've sort of put this bit of plywood in to hold it all from bloody pouring everywhere. In fact, that's even an old absorption fridge there, and I pulled the door off to pack more small wood inside it. It's crazy. I think it's a shit of a fridge actually, so it doesn't really matter. That's my spare plywood and chipboard that I keep there as well. Try and close this stupid door. This has turned into shit, this door. Everyone's bloody closed properly. Anyway. This here is full of small bits of wood. A lot of this is what I use for the wood hot water system, and the wood stove primarily just comes out of here. I filled this bloody thing up in, what, 2011? Still chewing through it. Yeah, a lot of bits of cypress pine and just random old bits of 4x2 that's turned to shit. Okay, that's the wind. I don't think you're going to be able to see that one there. It's got no bottom in it, but I've put a few pellets in there instead, and then chucked like logs on top of that. Now I was intending to make a stove, like a wood heater, out of a 44-gallon drum, or 55-gallon drum as you call them in the States, and so all the wood in there is actually cut for that sort of size, and a lot of that is hardwood that's come out of the local forest. Trouble is this stupid bits of, there's a big hole in the top here, and I riveted those on, and the bloody water leaks through, so I'm going to have some of it end up go rotten on one side. This damn wind, I knew this would happen. Every time I come out here the wind starts up. This down here, I actually put a little, deliberately made this little lid up out of a couple of bits of 4x2, a few bits of corrugated iron, a few old bits of plywood that were part of, oh no, shit, they're actual planks, I never realised that. Huh. Come off like a bed head or some bloomin' cheap kid's bed head from the 60s or something. Anyway, this is much the same. Hopefully, yeah, now you can get a bit of an idea. Hell of a lot of this is cypress pine, but this is actually a giant concrete pipe from, fuck knows, under a bridge or something. Turned it into a water tank in the bottom of my father's place. My uncle put it there when we lived in Western Australia, and then he went and pulled it out and chucked it on the back of his truck with his front end loader, I think, and he brought it back up here and was trying to get it to seal. No matter what he'd done, the thing was leaking like a sieve. So the whole bits of Rio running through it. So yeah, I just filled the bloody thing up with, it's got a hell of a tap on it, but as I said, leaks like a friggin' sieve. So I just filled the whole lot up with cypress pine, and I've never actually got any more than about half a dozen bits out of this. Just filled it up, and yeah, I cut it around the corner. We loaded it up into actually into the same front end loader bucket, and drove around and more or less just tilted it and chucked it all in. That's a bit of the old 42 there. That's likely to, probably not get much use and probably all end up going to the same fate. A couple of these have had friggin' more of strange shit. We dug this out and there's a couple of friggin' termites in the bottom. I thought, fuck that. All these here are a bit questionable along with those two as well. In regards to borers, I sort of don't exactly want to jam it in the same pile as the rest of the stuff. All this shit's from my grandfather. Old posts, random shit I've been grabbing over the year in here. I don't know where the hell that come from. I suppose my father dumped it there. Sometimes I just turn up and we've talked about him dropping wood off and I turn up and go, where'd that come from? And he put it there, so whatever. All this shit, boxthorn. Now, the mother lode. This is where I usually snag them from in the winter. Still got to give him back those stupid things. Oh, this is I think that's shit. Yeah, as you can see, more almond. And there's a little bit of cypress pine in this. Most of which was on the top. I think that's about the only piece I can actually see right now, and a couple of little tiny bits there. And most of this is just out and out, yeah, almond. It's bloody beautiful colour. That's real, you know, that's beautiful. That's sort of, I don't know how you guys have seen it, but it looks like chocolate brown to me. And a little bit lighter than chocolate brown. And yeah, I think there's might be a couple of old fence posts in here as well. I can see a bit of one in there. Oh. Oh. Anyway. Keep going. Oh, there's a couple of bits of cypress pine. I had a few of them all stacked up against here last winter, with the hope that because the wind usually comes from that direction, sort of this way, that it'll stay dry, and I chucked a bunch here because I've got a little bit of a porchy bit. This will probably turn to shit. Seems if we go into a dark place, the camera will fire up and it'll be alright. There you go. And all this is the old backup shower. Just a bit of clear plastic on a bit of shitto framing. And all of this is almond. There's quite a lot of almond there. Oh, and down the bottom there's a couple of ubiquitous red gum fence posts. A lot of the fence posts here are, some of them are box, which is basically, you know, like yellow box or something like that, which is just a sort of hardwood or gum tree. That's pretty common around here, and red gum, which is another type of gum tree. There's a huge amount of different varieties of gum trees, believe me. But a lot of this stuff's actually really bloody big. So this is the sort of gear I wouldn't use to start the fire. This is the one where you shove one last log in before you go to bed that you try and want to burn pretty much all the night. This is where a lot of this sort of stuff's kept, and there's another big bloody thingo. What's his name? Root. And Black Kitty, you're going to come out of here because I'm stuffed if I'm going to leave this door swinging in the wind, because I did once and just about broke it off the hinges. Alrighty. Yeah, I'll turn the microphone off now and we'll go right out there, and I'll show you a couple other bits, and then I'll turn the mic off and we'll go for a walk. Okay, well, to avoid you hearing a whole stack of wind noise, I cut this part out and I'm remaking it because it was just pathetic with bloody wind noise. Probably won't hear me too clearly because I got my finger over the microphone, but you can still hear my voice through the plastic casing regardless. This stuff here, some of this has gone a bit rotten because of all this dropping. That sort of leaves on it over the years. Some of it's sort of turned to crap. this is what I used to try and make that big dish thing last year. And yeah, well, in the overcast days of winter, I was not really realising that quite a bit of it has actually started to rot. The surprising thing about all this is there's no nails in quite a lot of this. Some there, all the chunks that were all this side. There's a few older bits that's got nails, but it's like as though he bought it all brand new back in the 70s or the 80s or whatever, and then he bought it from the old farm back to here or something. I don't know, it's just very surprising to see old style 4x2 that hasn't actually been used. Over here, this is where a lot of the posts ended up from, all the posts are ripped out down the hill to build the, to put the new fence in. These are all the original ones. There's a bunch of them sitting in their red truck there, quite a number of them. I was going to fill this entirely up with red gum posts and then put a tarp over, and I thought, hell, you ain't even going to use the stuff that's undercover, so what's the point of trying to cover all this up like as though you're going to use it? It'll survive outside because of it being red gum. It seems to, well, survived already for 120 years outside, so. But this is what most of this is. This here, when I had the pallet wood sheep yards I demolished, this is some of the better middle beams of the pallets that were hardwood that I kept, and a lot of it's, the planks and that are still down there, most of them, heaped up against the box thorn that I never got to burn. This here is some of the remaining peppercorn. I actually burned a great deal of peppercorn already. There was quite a lot of it. We had to cut out a couple of peppercorns on the fence line, as you may remember. Here's some other primarily red gum posts. Some of these he's nicked out of the forest himself. That little, where I got me dam, and he had that little corner that I sort of had to roll up all the old fence wire on, and there was some of the posts were just complete crap because of cypress pine. That's all come out of there because he didn't have any fencing staples, and he used 3-inch nails and friggin' heaps of them. So this is going to be a nightmare to cut, so because of the amount of nails in it. So I put it here, knowing that this is the stuff that has real nail issues with far too many nails in it. So that's all in this little stack. This is some of the other older stuff, some of which I've been splitting just before I went to my sister's. I decided to slam it in half. Usually that's more of a red colour, but you got to realise that this is milled 100 and something years ago, and it may not actually be red gum. It might be one of the other sort of gums or whatever. But that, I reckon, is definitely red gum. That's got the red colour to it. This is not quite spot on colour, but it could be red gum still that, didn't quite get the right amount of water or something. That's a bit of me father's old workbench. That's probably box or something like that. That goes bloody beautifully, and I burned a lot of that as well. And I had a whole stack more over here, and I was burning I burned out most of the peppercorn, and then moved over and was burning what was here. There's 3 posts that we're supposed to keep. There's a whole stack more that we weren't, and I've been splitting those up just before I went to my sister's as well. But a lot of these, there's a whole stack here, and I burnt most of these anyway. But that's more of this box or whatever, another local hardwood, and it burns bloody beautifully. There's the other part of his bench. I think it's the only other remaining chunk of the bench. Bolts in it. He used to hold onto his vice bolts. So yeah. Anyway, now onto the bit with the where I show the construction wood with the microphone turned off. And if you see me waggling my finger like that, I'm pointing out that it's treated pine, because some of it's treated and as a result I can't burn it. So And there we go. That's the tour of the firewood, construction wood that's likely to end up as firewood, or at least kindling, and all the dead trees. There's a couple of the boxthorn bits that are bloody large and I'm likely to salvage. I didn't bother showing them. I wasn't going to climb down there to show you all that. But anyway, you get the general idea. We're ain't going to run out of wood in the middle of winter, let's put it like that. Anyway, I've got to go and water a couple of things.